coached by Mr. Pol Pot. For Uganda, they are coming into this tournament with their own story, their own ambition. The Cranes have prepared for this moment with belief and a lot of determination. Under manager Pol Pot, Uganda have aimed to compete with structure, with resilience, knowing that these early group matches like this are about making a statement, and they will be trying to do so against a giant like Tunisia. So we are all set, everybody. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Me Sports.
So we are underway. Tunisia playing from right to left. They are continuing their remarkable record in the competition, qualifying time and again, a record-extending 17th straight appearance in the tournament, present at every tournament since 1994. Despite such consistency, success has been relatively elusive. Just one semi-final appearance since winning the trophy in 2004 on home soil, which they achieved against Morocco, hosts this time around. And they got to the semis in 2019 with the Carthage Eagles. They made it here this time around, finishing second in their group behind Comoros, the prize package, the Gambia and Madagascar, finishing third and bottom of the group. And while their AFCON qualification campaign may have been not that impressive, well, their World Cup form this year has been anything but for Tunisia. Absolutely blew their opponents away in reaching next year's World Cup. As they make some good ground on the right-hand side, but that's well cut out by Aziz Kayondo. The whistles, definite as the Cranes get a rare touch on the ball. Well, as for Uganda, their 8th visit to the tournament and their first, as said, since Egypt in 2019. They also finished second in their group, just a point behind South Africa, who took third place at the last Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast last year. A little bit of space here inside the area. Is there a chance for a shot? There is. Well, it was Safi who had it, but straight at Salim Magula in the Uganda goal. But a promising opening very early on for the Tunisians. At time and space, just couldn't get the angle that he would have wanted, Safi. As said, Uganda finishing just a point behind South Africa in qualifying. Congo, Brazzaville and South Sudan effective also rounds in the group. But South Africa, a very impressive side in African football in recent times, reaching the World Cup under coach Hugo Bruce, the man who took Cameroon to the title in 2017, and as said, team that finished third in the tournament last year. Well, it is a steady stream of rain that you may be able to hear. many of the Tunisia side based in Europe. And a fair few of the Cranes team as well. Nicely played down the right-hand side. Valerie can play it into the middle. Important header away. John Abita it was who got it clear. Tunisia showing good intent in these early stages. Ali Abdi into Mejbri. Drop of the shoulder from the Burnley man. Outside of the boot, into the middle it goes. And he cannot guide that on target, but a thumbs up from Hazem Mastouri. And some nice play from Tunisia. Inventive stuff, really good from Mejbri. Just needed a little bit more of a delicate touch from Mastouri. Not the easiest chance, admittedly. The two efforts on goal in the first 6 minutes, and they're coming forward against Tunisia. A little dink over. Mejbri again just muscled off it by Jude Semugabi. And Uganda, well, they just need to get their foot on the ball in these opening minutes and just quell this early traffic going in one direction towards their goal. Toby Civic with a throw back into Rogers Torash. Abita. Kayondo, and it's going to be some night for these Uganda players. I'm sure they were expecting a little bit of hostility, but perhaps not the deafening din that they are being subjected to every time they get on the ball. Drop of the shoulder from Elias Saad. Mejbri. Just 22 years of age. Mejbri winning his 40th cap today. The former Manchester United man. Saad. Spreading the play, but just too hard and too high for Elias Ashuri. The striker based in Denmark with FC Copenhagen. There's Mato, who Uganda will very much be looking forward for, or two for goals today. Tabi just into Dylan Broad. It's certainly a nice passing surface, and they're making the most of it in these early stages. Tunisia, ball into the middle. Tunisia wanting more. There's just a corner for now, as you can see. Claims of handball. Abita, well, he was slipping and falling. It seems to come off the side of his chest. This will, of course, be checked by VAR. The whistles clearly indicating the displeasure of the Tunisian supporters. But on first glance, there didn't seem too much wrong with that. Mejbri with the delivery. Outswinger into space. And into the back of the net as well. Well, what a start for the Tunisians. Elliot Skiri leaping high and heading home. And sending the hordes of Carthage Eagles and Tunisia supporters into raptures all around this stadium. They applied the pressure early on at Tunisia. And they have got their breakthrough as well. Like a boxer coming out with the big punches early on, they have done some damage. And Uganda, who sometimes find goals hard to come by, have got to find their way back into this game. Two players unmarked at the far post. Routine stuff. But Skiri did really well just to guide that inside the post. Salim, well beaten. And he got over it well, the Eintracht Frankfurt man. And despite the efforts of Kayondo on the line, Tunisia lead by a goal to nil. And a dream start for them, and they really seem to be enjoying themselves on this wet surface. And they're coming forward again here. Salim comes together. Well, unsurprisingly, it is the Tunisian supporters you can hear singing. Their flag being waved all around. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they go on this tournament. As said, regularly they qualify, just as they often do for the World Cup as well. But in truth, they often underwhelm at the major tournaments. And it was a point made by their coach, Sami Trabelsi, the former defender, in the run-up to this tournament, saying it is high time we translate our consistency into tangible success. Can they keep this up? They're taking it quickly, but the referee unhappy, and they'll have to come back again. Mejbri in a hurry, just like his colleagues. Ali Abdi, wearing number 2, also standing over it there. Skiri, the goal scorer. Can they threaten again? Mejbri goes deep again, and Skiri in space once more. On this occasion, he cannot get any contact, the 30-year-old. Well, once again, questions have to be asked as to where the Ugandan markers were. Let Skiri run free. You would have thought, given what happened just over 3 minutes ago, that they might want to get a little bit tighter. First foray forward for the Cranes. What can they do with it? Semu Gabi, into the middle it goes. Still not fully clear. Well, in the end, it's Abdi who just hacks it away. And the referee reaching for his notebook and issuing the first yellow of the game, to the dismay of Aziz Kayondo, the Uganda left back. No stranger to the referee's notebook, and well, I wonder, from that angle it doesn't look as bad as the previous one, but Kayondo been sent off for his club Slovan Liberec in the Czech Republic already this season. A regular there, and he's now got to play nearly 80 minutes on a yellow card. And Asturi, the man down, and I think you can see a Tunisian player there indicating that that was an elbow from Kayondo, and possibly wanting a little bit more than just the yellow. talking about the Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign for Tunisia, which was pretty underwhelming, and contrasting it with their World Cup displays. They played 10 qualifiers in the World Cup. They won 9, drew 1, scored 22, and conceded none. And that is now what Uganda are up against as they play it into the middle again. Cleared but not fully away. Sati. Well, Sati unable to win the corner, and it will be a goal kick to Uganda. Kayondo just nicking it off the Tunisia skipper. Safi again. Ayman Diamond, one of the 4 goalkeepers in the Tunisia squad. Free kick goes Tunisia's way. Mastouri, the player fouled, and Aucho protesting his innocence, the 32-year-old skipper for Uganda. You never quite know what you're going to get with Tunisia, because despite that impressive World Cup qualifying campaign, they went to the Arab Cup earlier this month, and once again they were not at their best, failing to get out of the group stage when facing the likes of Syria, Palestine and Qatar. And yet that poor display all came off the back of a highly creditable 1-1 draw with Brazil last month in a friendly. Saad just nudged over fairly by Civic, according to the referee, and Uganda coming forward. Stephen Makwala back into Civic. Melvin trying to get on the end of that and just unable to do so. They need something to hold on to into this game. Kenneth Semakula gets it back, but now based in second tier in Saudi Arabia. There's a huge gap in midfield in the centre of the pitch for Uganda. It's a pretty forceful shove by Braun. Swiftly penalised by the Gabonese referee. And taken quickly by Aucho. I used the boxing analogy earlier, and so far Uganda yet to lay a glove really on their opponents. They have only ever won 1 game of the Nations Cup outside of their run to the final in 1978. Uganda, and that was last time around in 2019 when They beat the Democratic Republic of Congo in their opening game. 2-0 in Cairo it ended. But that was that. What can they do this time around? Matches against Nigeria and against Tanzania to follow, and you have to believe that Uganda will be looking to that game against Tanzania on Saturday to pick up the points that they need. Often just one win in the group stage is enough, with the third place, or the third best place third place sides going through, where you can see just what the conditions are like there from the slide from Melvin. Played this football in Thailand, the 31-year-old. Really has had a pretty remarkable career. Born in London. Played for Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga from 2013-2016. Scoring there as well. Then had a couple of seasons with Den Haag in the Eredivisie, but nonetheless, only 3 caps for Uganda before tonight. Returning to the side last month. Oh, the referee decided that was a foul just as Uganda thought they might be getting away. Take it ahead from Stephen Makwala, based in Tanzania, where he played for Simba, one of the 2 giants there, alongside Young Africans or Yanga. He'll be hugely invested in that game against Tanzania here in Rabat on Saturday. Well, after the high intensity opening, things just calming down a little for the Tunisians. Slight lifting off the pedal for the North Africans. Semugabi. Abdi. Skiri. The ball just slowing up a little bit with the rain. Another push by Bron. Ali Abdi. Long from Talbi. And too heavy for the man based in France with Lorient. You've got to feel for them, but those of a Tunisian persuasion may well be happy enough. Mugabe has just indications of puddles beginning to form on the pitch and holding up the play. Uganda just getting on with it. Aucho. Samakula back into Obita. Cut out, and Sassi tries to get Tunisia on the move again. Masturi. Skiri, nicely played from him. And a bit of space for Masturi, but cut out by Semakula. Kayondo. Bit of space. Well, that's much better from Uganda. They made the ground up nicely. Good passing stuff, and just beginning possibly to find their groove. Rogers Mato. Semakula. A lot of space. Torash. Flourish again. Makula. They've got their foot on the ball for once, Uganda. Well, as I say that, they spray one wide and lose possession. Mato. Makula into Flourish, the only member of the starting lineup based in Uganda. He plays for local side Vipers. And Ali Abdi just shrugging off Melvin. Sassy. Ushering Valerie forward. And the 26-year-old gets on his bike and starts motoring up the right-hand side. Trying to play it inside and does find it into Safi. Sees it up for Mejbri. Mejbri cannot keep it inside the far post. Well, that was the ball that really opened things up for Tunisia. And then just the body angle was a little bit wrong for Mejbri. Perhaps it would have been better if being going for the bottom right-hand corner instead he aimed for the left. Just the one goal in his 39 previous appearances for Mejbri. But he looks in the mood tonight. Well, Semakula is being given a lot of space by the Tunisians. It's about what he does with the ball. Melvin. Tunisia in Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast last time around ended up bottom of their group. They lost their opener to Namibia in what was a major shock. Dean Hotto with a very late goal, and then they were unable to beat either Mali or South Africa, going out at the third time of asking in the campaign before they made it as far as the quarter-finals. Their run ended by Burkina Faso having seen off Nigeria in the round of 16. Yusuf Sakni, who is not part of the squad this time around. Sakni having played in a joint record 8 Africa Cup of Nations. A mainstay of the Tunisian side in recent times. Prior to that group stage exit, they'd always at least reached the quarter-finals, Tunisia. Semugabi plays the football in South Sudan. Masturi trying to open it up, but Ashuri sandwiched by two Ugandan players. He went down as if hit by a missile. Let's have a look at this one, Kayondo. Well, a gentle tug from Sassi. And the theatrics from the 23-year-old left-back for Uganda. Either way, the referee happy an infringement was committed. And this is a chance for Uganda to find a way back into the game. Daman organising his defence. It's the X-Faction goalkeeper. Melvin with the delivery. Can he find a player in red? Low and hard, or not like that he won't. Disappointing ball in from Melvin Lorenzen. Matto trying to find his way past three, unable to do so. Giri's header from that corner. Still the major moment in this game. Uganda yet to force Ahmed Damed into a save. Asturias down again. He's the man who scored the goal against Brazil last month, the 28-year-old, faced in Russia with FC Makaskala. And caught by Kayondo high on the thigh, and he's got to be careful as he's Kayondo, having picked up that yellow card earlier in the game. Well, he's been left alone twice, Skiri, and he's in a ocean of space again on this near side. He's out of picture, about 10 yards to the left of the furthest Ugandan player, Skiri. There he is. Here's Mejbri aiming for him again. Good ball into the middle. Matto with a really important defensive clearance. Excellent delivery from Mejbri. Asking questions of the Uganda back line that they answered on this occasion. Ocho, unhappy. The most capped player in the squad apart from Dennis Onyango, the veteran goalkeeper for Uganda, who has been recalled to the side at the age of 40 after a 4-year absence. Hugely experienced figure for Uganda and in African club football, having won the Champions League with Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa a few years ago. And even if he doesn't get on, I'm sure Onyango will bring considerable nous and advice to the Uganda dressing room. So too, of course, the Uganda coach Paul Put, who took Burkina Faso to the final of the Nations Cup in 2013 against the odds. The Belgian having revitalised Ugandan football after a little period in the wilderness, and at the right time too, because in 2 years' time Uganda will be co-hosting the Africa Cup of Nations along with Kenya and Tanzania. And so this tournament is a perfect preparation for them. Ahead of that tournament they want, of course, to be competitive, just as Kenya and Tanzania do, but Kenya not here this time around. He's happy to go back to Darmid. Nicely linking up with Mejbri. Abdi seemingly more alert than the Ugandans around him, but unable to find a colleague in white. Sad again. Well, no infringement according to the referee. To the displeasure of the Tunisian supporters. That's a lovely turn. Rogers Matto. Oh, the whistles will come even louder if Uganda could convert here, but Bron cuts out that attempted cross. And then gets it away as well, that Switzerland-based man. There's Sami Trabelsi. Played at 4 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments, including in 1996. In the final in South Africa, when Bafana so memorably lifted the title. Into the middle it goes. And it cut out and hacked high into the Rabat sky. Anywhere will do time, but Civic was in behind, which Uganda has seldom been in this opening period. Oh, Trabelsi doesn't just play in 4 Nations Cups. He's also previously coached Tunisia, had 2 in 2012 and 2013. Really good defending there from Skiri. A little nutmeg from Civic. In 2012 they reached the quarterfinals under Trabelsi. In 2013 they went out in the group stage. But the 57-year-old says he's coming to this tournament with far more experience and ambition. In between his 2 roles with Tunisia, i.e. from 2013, and then taking charge again in February earlier this year. He's spent 10 years managing one club in Qatar, which is pretty rare. That's loose at the back. Saad can pick this up. Gifted and given away by Salim Magula in the Uganda goal. Sassi. Mejbri into Skiri. Space on the right-hand side. And he does go right. To Valerie. Talbi. Mejbri. Now this is better from Tunisia. Saad. Lightly needs support, and he's got Mejbri behind him. Here he is. Mejbri thinking about the strike, playing it wide. Valerie with the strike for Tunisia. Back into Mejbri. Sassi. Well, it's pinball in the Uganda penalty area, but Tunisia still have it, still threatening. Ashuri into Masturi, who cannot control it. Salim happily gathers, but then launches it long and they give it away again. Saad, drop of the shoulder. Good defensive tackle from Aucho. That's nice from Abdi. Space indeed, oh that is absolutely stunning. As Tunisia double their lead. Oh, what a way to do it. Sweet as you like. Elias Ashuri with a goal he will never forget. The roar was deafening inside the arena. And that was picture book stuff from the Carthage Eagles. And they are 2 goals to the good, and it all came from Salim's ball forward, which just came straight back to them. This was nice and Saad. Alcho thought he had done enough, but then Abdi did really well. And look at that, for both a cross and a finish. Measured both of them. Controlled side-footed volley. A moment to savour for Ashuri. And a comfortable 2-0 lead for the 2004 African champions. Well, he's not going to forget that in a hurry, the 26-year-old. Makwala trying to give Uganda something of a lifeline before the break, but they have struggled to get anything past the central defenders. That's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Nicely played by Civic. Well, he's got down the right-hand flank to good effect. Civic, who plays his football in the 3rd tier of English football with Burton Albion. But he's got to get back now. Space again. Tunisia looking for a third and looking to run riot. Saad strikes a goal but cannot keep it down. And you can see from his reaction that he knows he should have done. Did everything right up to the strike. They just could not keep it down, the 25-year-old. But Tunisia almost putting this game to bed in the driving rain before the break. Long towards Makwala, Bron will cut it out. Rogers Matto. Civic again. Well, they'd be very happy just to get in formation, get in their structure. Tunisia, as Uganda come forward, confident that they can snap out danger, and so far that's exactly what they've done. Valerie. Tunisia ending the half as they began it with real intensity and purpose. Well, Matto has switched flanks. The 22-year-old. Melvin has also come over to this near side as Uganda just trying to change it up in a bid to find some change out of Tunisia. Heavy touch from Makwala. Sassi. Saad. Here is Matto. Matto from distance. And Matto unable to test Darwin in goal. He can score goals from distance. He netted an outrageous strike against South Africa in qualifying in the game in Johannesburg. In the qualifying period between September and November last year, did Matto. He was just a few yards past the centre circle. A blistering strike, which admittedly the South Africa goalkeeper could have done better with, but it was still some hit from 40 yards or so. He's got 12 goals in 13 league games as well in Macedonia this season. Matto, the man who scored late there. And they need him to deliver here. Meshbury just sportingly going over to see if he's okay. Mato in behind. Mato onto his left foot. Striker goal. Oh, that is an outstanding piece of defending from Dylan Braun. Getting his head in the way. Onto a powerful strike from Mato. Oh, look at that. That's what you want to see from your defenders. And that's the sort of commitment that Tunisia fans want to see as well. There'll be 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this opening period. Is there time enough for Uganda to pull one back? Kayondo will swing this in. Up it goes. Then headed away by the defence, and Ashuri losing out, but because he was fouled according to the Gabonese official. And Tunisia will take their time. At the end of the half, though, they will be very happy with. They've just won one of their last 6 Nations Cup matches. So they're looking very, very good and likely to add to that. Well, Abdi didn't get that right. Corner, will there be time to take it? Just about. Gets forward to really good effect down the left flank. Ali Abdi, who plays as probably the French top flight with Nice. Mejbri needs to get a move on. He's applauding the Tunisian fans who are sending the love back in his direction. Into the middle it goes, in another corner. Well, we're past the 2 minutes. The play goes on. Mejbri again. Can they get added gloss on what has been a near perfect first half for Tunisia? Well, they can't, because the referee puts his whistle to his lips to bring the first half to a close. Opening 45 that saw Tunisia blow Uganda away. A blistering opening start was rewarded just 10 minutes in, when Elias Skiri headed home from a corner. Then they took their foot off the gas a little bit, Tunisia, but 5 minutes before the break, Elias Ashuri scored a superb goal on the volley from Ali Abdi's measured clipped cross to ensure that Tunisia go in 2 goals to the good at half-time, and looking very good to take all 3 points at half-time in this Group C encounter in Rabat. It is Tunisia 2, Uganda 0. So the statistics from the first half, Uganda with the greater possession, but Tunisia with all the shots on target. 3-0, 2 of which they've converted. Just the 1 yellow card so far going the way of Aziz Kayondo, the Uganda fullback. Uganda with more passes, but it's definitely Tunisia who've been the better side in that opening period. and a good value for their 2-goal lead.
Supersport and Park, bringing the story of rugby to its people. This
for Melvin Lorenzo. who is off. Travis Muchiaba as well coming on. Jude Semugabi, who flitted in and out of the game, replaced Muchiaba, an attacking midfielder who plays his football in Tunisia. And as for Tunisia, well, Firaz Shawa, a striker with Club Africain, one of the big teams back home in Tunisia, is on the 29-year-old, and we are back underway. And the rain, while still coming down, is far lighter than it was throughout that first half. Mato has been fouled, and Uganda need a swift start. A combination of Safi and their goal scorer Ashuri, bringing down the Ugandan. Confirmation of the substitutes in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Hazem Masduri, the man being replaced. Unclear if that's an injury or just a bit of game management. Muchiaba with an early delivery, headed away by Ashuri. Nesri, now stalled for once by Kayondo. And then Saad breaks it up, and Mesri with a little bit of space on the right-hand side. Safdie is free in the middle, but he tries to play it back into Saad. Civic, well, the ball just held up in the water, not once but twice. Saad, Valerie, deep cross clipped in, and the first touch for Dennis Omedi. And not the best either. Saad with time and space to make it three for Tunisia. Well, they cannot get it away at times, Uganda, but eventually Salim comes out to smother the danger. Well, he was well closed down. Three Cranes players there. Just for a moment it looked like might wriggle in Tunisia's favour. Omedi, who's come on top scored for Uganda in the Nations Cup qualifiers, admittedly only with 2 goals. One of them a stunning long-range strike against South Africa. I was talking earlier about the goal from Rogers Mato in that game in Johannesburg just over 12 months or so ago. Omedi's effort was equally fine. They need something to build on in this game, Uganda. But they found it hard going in the opening period. Valerie. Safi. Just too close confines in which to work. Good hunger from Tunisia. Safi. Ashuri, who scored that stunning second for Tunisia. He does well to nick it off Kayondo, and that's surely going to be a corner to the Tunisians in his. Well, they've showed some really good hunger in this game, Tunisia, and that's often been, or sometimes, I should say, been an accusation against the team from their fans. Mesri again just whipping up the crowd as he comes over to the main stand to take the set piece. And it was from a delivery like this that they open the scoring through Skiri early on. Well, that's too deep and goes over the head of Elias Skiri. Mato down again, and instantly the referee reaching for his notebook and for his yellow card. And sad. It's the first Tunisian player to be cautioned in this game. Kayondo having picked one up early in the first half for Uganda. Here he is, Aziz Kayondo. Mutiaba, who we just saw on screen, plays for CS Faction, and as the biggest clubs in Tunisia. And the 20-year-old is now tasked with biting the hand that feeds him. If he can get the opportunities, Mejbri charging forward for Tunisia, trying to find the substitute Shawat. Heavily involved Mejbri in this encounter, showing good determination again to win that back. Skiri. No lays from the Tunisian supporters who are enjoying this, particularly those over on the open stadium now that the rain has considerably eased. It's not entirely stopped. Mejbri, nice footwork from him and clipped by Kayondo. Really has been all action. Univel Mejbri, the former France Youth International, talking about his deep desire and love of representing Tunisia in the run-up to this game. And Mutiaba, as you can see, just the left foot of Dron, going on the metatarsal area of the Ugandan. There's Paul Put, the Belgian coach. He's never won an opening game at the Africa Cup of Nations, and that's a record that looks like continuing this, his fourth appearance at the tournament. As I said earlier, he led Burkina Faso to the final in 2013. That was his first ever Nations Cup. It was a fairly ignominious follow-up 2 years later when they exited in the group stage, the Stallions. But then in 2019 he took Guinea into the round of 16. Just one victory in the group could well be enough for him to take a third side into the knockout phase. And among those on the bench for Uganda is Alan Okello, who I think some, if not many, Cranes fans would have been surprised not to see in the starting lineup. Possibly he has an injury. He was a key man in qualifying for both the Africa Cup of Nations and for the World Cup. 3 goals and 4 assists in the World Cup qualifiers. 3 assists in the Nations Cup qualifying campaign. But he is not on the pitch as of yet. Mutiaba is back on. And Tunisia will make a change, and sadly, out for midfielder. His race is run. And Mohamed Ali Bernaromdan is plays his football with Egyptian giants Al Ahly, the most successful club in African club football, is on. As it comes into Mutiaba, trying to twist and turn and get a shot away, unable to do so. Mesri. Well, that's just going to go out. Well, Ben Romdan is not going to make life much easier for Uganda. He's got 4 goals this year, including the one that took the Carthage Eagles to the World Cup. They're scoring very late on against Equatorial Guinea in September. A stoppage time strike it was, as it secured Tunisia's return to the World Cup. They beat France 1-0 in Qatar 4 years ago. 3 years ago, excuse me. What can they do when the tournament takes place in the United States, Canada and Mexico? In just over 6 months' time. Mutiaba, outswing, it goes in deep, headed forward, and they're claiming handball here, the Ugandans. We'll have to see on the replays how credible a claim that is. Well, Civic just puts that out of touch, and well, they're still complaining to the referee, and he's just holding up the play. Let's have a look at this. Well, it certainly brushed the arm of the man who's just come on, Ben Romdan. But they are happy that his arm was not in an unnatural position. It was by his side, the substitute. And a quick decision taken by the officiating crew. Unfairly impeded, the 26-year-old. Sandwiched between 2 Cranes players. Forward to Shawatu. Cannot win the header. Safi charging forward for Tunisia. And just runs into John Obita. Kayondo. Well, a heavy touch from Kayondo, but he wins the free kick. Makula. That's a clear foul. And pushing the back, and maybe apologises as well to Ali Abdi. Something in the air, just about to when the challenge came in. Valerie, that's loose. Is this an opportunity? Makwala, well it was. He just couldn't take it, Stephen Makwala. Well, they have not had many sighters. The Tunisia goal, and he had options as well to the right of him. He did not hesitate to pull the trigger, the Simba player. And that was well wide of the mark. Smart turn by Semakula, but it was a poor pass. And Tunisia have it back. Skiri, we've got us underway. Switch of play, looking for his fellow goalscorer, Ashuri. Mato, fouled by Valerie. Not that he agrees with it. Well, this is the third meeting between these two sides of the Africa Cup of Nations. They last met in 1978, which was a special year for both sides. Uganda reached the Nations Cup final that year for the one and only time in their history. They were beaten by Ghana, hosts of the tournament. Tunisia, meanwhile, well, they beat Mexico at the 1978 World Cup that year, and that was a historic moment, given it was the first time any African side had ever won a game at the World Cup. For the record, when they met in 1978, Tunisia won by 3-1. Both sides went on to reach the semi-finals. Unlikely for a repeat this year, but you never know. Valerie into Skiri, and Skiri into traffic. Abdi. Mejbri spent a lot of time on the floor in his desire to get his side going forward. Obita. Semakula. Mato. Round the corner looking for Kayondo, who's got far forward. The fullback. They'll have to build again. Well, Uganda had the greater possession in the first half. Just what they did with it that mattered. They did not have a shot on target as opposed to Tunisia's 3, 2 of which, of course, found the back of the net. Valerie into Safi, looking to play around the corner into Ashuri. Mato to Kayondo. Are they running out of ideas a little, Uganda? Semakula dispossessed. Safi into Mejbri. And Mejbri's pass just hitting the back of Sibic. But still they come forward. Slightly heavy, but it's 4-on-3 here for Tunisia. Space for Abdi to strike. And they should surely make it 3. And they do. Ashuri with his second of the game. And a third goal for Tunisia, ensuring the 3 points which were never really in any doubt. Salim Magula able to stop the first, but only spinning it into the path of the Copenhagen striker. And what a game he is having. qualifiers for tonight. He had only ever scored 3 goals for Tunisia. Now his tally is up to 5. His first was something of beauty. His second was very, very routine and functional. But Tunisia are going top of the pile in Group C. 3 goals clear. And now doing better than Nigeria's narrow 2-1 victory over Tanzania earlier in the day. Well, he has got the bit between his teeth, Elias Ashuri. I'm sure Sammy Travelsi might start thinking about rigging the changes. And looking ahead to the big game on Saturday night. And it sets it up quite beautifully, Nigeria's clash against Tunisia in Fez. One of the pick of the group stage games. A lovely turn. Ashuri, can he now turn provider? Well, he can't because it's come out by Kayondo, and that'll be a corner to Tunisia. Well, he is having a night to remember, and he's having a year to remember as well. Won the League and Cup double with FC Copenhagen last season. To the Ashuri. As the rain begins to swing in again. Mejbri with the delivery. Shawat can't get anything on it. And anywhere will do. At the back for Halil Aucho. Ukraine's captain. Mejbri. Sassy in space. What's the delivery like? Well, he's picked out. The player in white is Ben Romdam. Ashuri unselfishly playing it forward. Mejbri. Nice football from Tunisia to the delight of their supporters. Measured ball forward, Valerie with the cutback. And Aucho once again with the the important intervention for Uganda. Mato swings it outright, a bit of space. And a striker goal when it fizzed low and hard from Dennis Amedi. I was saying he could hit them earlier. Darman seeing it all the way. Well, the changes are coming, but they're coming from Uganda. James Bageri, just 17 years of age. Called up after impressing at the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar. Is on. Makula coming off. So to Stephen Makwala. And Baba Al-Hassan also on. Well, Bulgaria doesn't turn 18 until February. Al-Hassan Baba will sit at the base of midfield. And that is an instant introduction for Baba Al-Hassan. You can see why it's been given. 25 years of age, plays his football in Romania with Steaua Bucharest, or SCSB as they're known these days. Born in Ghana but chose to represent Uganda through his mother. Only made his debut last month, Baba. Driving run this time. Baba gets it right to break it up. Bulgaria. Mesbury cooled up. Shawat. Well, Tunisia beat Mauritania 4-0 in the group stage at the 2021 edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, played in early 2022 as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Can they match that today? Mallory, the player down. Ron. Bit of space here for Ben Romdan. Mesbury. Bassi. Valerie with time and space to deliver into the middle. And he couldn't keep it down. fighting ball in. And putting his head wherever it hurts. As you can see, just escaping the boot of Roger Tourash. Peter switching the play out to Ahmedi. That's a lovely pass. Striker goal, and just right from Sibig, and one of the brighter performers for Uganda today, always fading away. About a big game on Saturday between Tunisia and Uganda. Tunisia and Nigeria. It's going to be a very big game for Uganda when they take on Tanzania in a match that will surely decide both teams' fortunes at this competition. Mato for once going to control it. Ashuri, nice bit of skill. With Safi. Nice turn, and got away. Can they make it four? A delivery into the middle. And Salim Magula has solid hand on it. Then Ramzan looking to play in his fellow substitute. Giri. Abdi. Ahmedi with his defensive duties into Skiri. A lovely ball, and what's the cutback like into Sassi? Well read by Kayondo to cut that out, making good roads down that left flank. Tunisia, Mato for Uganda. Well, he could have taken it on, just falling apart a little bit in the final third, Uganda. Then Romdan. Oh, some good energy since he's come on. Mejbri. Shuri on a hat-trick, of course. Spelled. Fouled by Kayonde. Kayondo. Free kick in a very promising area. A wry smile on the face of Kayonde. He's gone in with a rash challenge more than once tonight. Sammy Trabelsi is going to make a couple more substitutions, surely. Which the referee has spotted. Kusenska plays his football with Esperance, former African champions. Comes on for Sassi, who's had a really good game. The Carthage Eagles captain. And Ashuri will not be able to grab a hat-trick because he's off, and on comes Ismail Garbi, 21 years of age, the winger. Oh, it's been a fine night for Ashuri, and he is warmly applauded off the pitch by the Tunisian supporters. No surprise that he gets a big hug from his coach. Mejbri looking as though he fancies this. It is Mejbri, and it's turned behind for a corner. Two good hands on it from the Uganda goalkeeper. Watched it all the way. Decent effort from Mejbri, just going inside. Mejbri again. And comes back to him. He'll have a second chance at this. Just runs into Mato. Mato fouled by Kusenska. Self-involvement. To give away a free kick. It's his fifth cap tonight, Ska. Well, came back in 2023. Well, Mato, he's done, and possibly he's rested for the game against Tanzania. Alan Okello is finally on. An attacking midfielder, 25 years of age. A creative force, as said. Okello, what can he do in the 5 minutes or so that remain? Natives football, back home with Vipers. Captain Uganda, the African Nations Championship or CHAN. Earlier in the year as Kenya and Uganda and Tanzania warmed up for the Nations Cup in 2 years' time and hosting the tournament for African players based in their own domestic leagues. For once on the end of some of the treatment that he's been dishing out earlier. Again, tried to cut. Sebastian Connecty will also be coming on. Based in Scotland with Celtic. And Mesbury coming off, he's had a fine game. Central midfielder. Really has driven Tunisia forward tonight. Another warm embrace from Sammy Trabelsi. He was an uncompromising player himself and I'm sure enjoys watching Mesbury. Switch of play from Bulgari. Into the middle it goes. And over all the heads it goes as well. abruptly forward, having taken the captain's armband. Bit of space on this right-hand side, into the middle it goes, and that's well cut out by Belarus. Forward, there'll be 5 additional minutes. Already going to the floor under the hand on the shoulder. That's a nice bit of control from them down, and that's a nice strike as well from him. Really just ghosted past the Uganda backline. But falling, and not a million miles away. Can Uganda sign off in style? Oh, they can. Oh, they thought they'd got a consolation, and they have got a consolation. Slight hesitation in the celebration. So Uganda have got themselves on the score sheet. And Tunisia, well, a blot on the landscape. Big deflection of Valerie. And it's Omedi profiting from that mix-up at the back. And Zarman with no chance whatsoever in the Tunisia goal. And he was brought on to score goals, Omedi. At least he's given those supporters something to cheer and take home. And who knows how important that goal might be in the final reckoning. Wins the corner. Kayondo having stuck to his task gamely, despite that early caution. Garvey will take the delivery. Outswing a free header. Oh, that's a really good save from Salim Magula. Instant reaction. Firmly met. Fiber on. And a really solid left hand to it by the Cranes goalkeeper. Going in again. Too deep this time. to Senekti. He'll do well to keep that out, and now all eyes turning to the Gabonese official. And when he might signify the end of a match that Tunisia wrapped up a long time ago. Well, there it is. There goes the final whistle. And Tunisia have won an opening game at the Nations Cup for the first time since 2013. They led early on through Elias Skiri, who headed home Hannibal Mejbri's corner, and then there was that man on your screen who took centre stage, Elias Ashuri. A stunning volley shortly before half-time, and then a routine finish midway through the second half. Dennis Ahmedi with a late consolation for Uganda, who were well beaten. They will now meet Tanzania on Saturday as Tunisia take on Nigeria in a clash of the teams at the top of Group C. It's been a fine, impressive start by the 2004 African champions. It has ended in Rabat. Tunisia 3, Uganda 1.